Welcome to Coast Vue. I hope you're having a great day. This is the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a great place to live, work, and play. Listen, as you well know, if you're a regular listener, I have spent most of my life focused on trying to live a healthy life. And, I spent a lot of time walking and running and bike riding and in the gym. And as I get older, it's really paid off, to be honest with you. But then, everything about my health is in good shape for the most part. But here we are at the end of January, and January is just finished, and you see a lot of people reflecting now about the resolutions that they broke. And what do you do? Well, a lot of people, when they break their resolution to live a healthy life, they just say, I can't do that, and they move on and continue their unhealthy life. And but really, it's a chance to say, okay, maybe some of the things I wanted to do I didn't do, but I'm going to redouble my efforts. And with that said, I wanted to invite my friend Robby D'Angelo. He's a mind optimization coach, among many other things, but he's someone who's a regular on the show that I have a tremendous amount of respect for and love talking about living a healthy life with on a regular basis. Robby, how you doing, my friend?
Ricky, I am doing fantastic. Life is good. This year's off to a really good start. So thank you so much for having me today.
Well, I've been watching your beard grow. For people who are watching on YouTube and Facebook or on SuperTalk TV, you see that. It's pretty distinguishing, actually. What are people's reaction to it?
It's funny. Like, every man I run into is like, man, I love the beard. So it's going well. I mean, it's like 3 months of growth. I normally shave it off January 1st, but I've decided to kind of just trim it and keep it this year. My girlfriend's not the biggest fan of it, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've started to grow a goatee a couple of times. I've got some naked spots on my face to do a beard, but I'll get about 3 or 4 days into it, and Ann immediately says, it's got to go. Yep. So what Ann says is the gospel. So I stick in there with her. I've really been following you on social media. I've always followed you, as you well know, but it seems like at the beginning of this year, you had a commitment to double down on the work that you're doing as an influencer. Am I reading that correct?
Yeah, actually, there's a couple shifts that are going on in my branding. But yes, and I even, I'm always looking to expand. I even brought on a COO this year to help me with the operations side so I can double down on the influence and just my ability to go do what I do and not do as much of the stuff that I don't need to be doing.
Yeah, like the stuff that it takes to run a business, for a matter of fact, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so you've become a business. Robby is you were already a one-man show business, but you've really become a full-fledged business, and with other opportunities to branch out, I guess.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, in any business, if you are growing, and most of the entrepreneurs I work with, this is so true. Most entrepreneurs are the bottleneck for their business. There's only so much you can do as a person. So if you want to grow, you have to remove the bottleneck, which in most cases is the owner/entrepreneur. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Well, you're from coastal Mississippi. I admire your decision to move to Florida, to change your surroundings, to have new influences in your life. You work with a wide range of very successful people. And, as you said before on the show, and I found this throughout my career as well, that I end up getting more from them than I'm giving to them. The entrepreneurs that you're working with, they're probably pretty quick to advise you on, dude, you need to get you some help in this area. If you really want to grow this part that you're really good at, get rid of this other part and get you some help, because you have a real opportunity to grow your business. You've heard that from your mentors, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, and even one of my clients right now, I've watched him grow his business. And he's got a fractional CFO. He's got this person do this. Like, he outsources as much as possible so he can do what he needs to do. And I'm like, and I preach that so much to my clients. It's just one of those things like, hey, you have to practice what you preach, and you need to be doing this for yourself if you really want to have the impact and grow like you want to.
That's pretty cool. It's interesting, your COO. It's interesting that because more people are doing what you're doing, Whoever that person is, that's a person, an entrepreneur taking advantage of an opportunity as single individuals grow, the opportunity to step in and help them and bring a very specific skill set to the table. I bet there's a story in that in and of itself.
Oh, his journey has been amazing. And it's one of the reasons why I decided to bring him on board is because of his own journey of being an entrepreneur, finding his unique skill sets and his passion of being able to help guys like me on the back end systems, processes, operations side of the business. That's his passion. And really client success is kind of the underlying passion that fuels the systems and processes that he's good at. So, yeah, I mean, I only partner with people who want to make an impact and are hungry and passionate about helping people. I mean, that's the only kind of people I want to partner with.
You got an opportunity. We're gonna come back to the topic at hand, but you got an opportunity to hear that a little bit of the conversation with the Coast Young Professional Group that I had, and very impressive. But Christian Hartley was, I think, chatting about her mission in life and the role of mentorship and all that. But just in the short snippet you got from her, it was very inspiring, wasn't it?
It made me more fired up to talk to you after hearing her and hearing how aligned she is with her faith and how that guides her decision-making process. I mean, it's one of the things that I preach and practice. So just hearing that before you and I were able to talk, I'm like, yes, that's the good stuff.
I feel the same way, my friend. I feel I pick up on that aspect of it significantly, the role that faith plays in her life. And listen, you know the stats. We get to the end of January, and especially in coastal Mississippi, man, because you got Mardi Gras parties starting to crank up, and it's a wild time until Mardi Gras happens and Lent kicks in. But but you don't have to have Mardi Gras to get you off your resolution commitment. It's just the stats aren't really good, are they?
No, I mean, here in 6 days, 92% of people will have given up on their New Year's resolutions.
Wow. So, isn't that incredible?
That's where we're at right now.
That is incredible. So someone is frustrated by the fact that they've sort of lost sight on their health goals, and it was part of their resolution. Even if it's not part of their resolution, what's your advice to them?
Why stop? Like, why let you not accomplishing your goals prevent you from setting new goals and starting new goals? And I literally was talking to a client about this yesterday. I'm like, hey, look, last time I checked, you're not Jesus. You're going to make mistakes. You're not perfect. And none of us are perfect. I mean, some of my goals, I keep having to like readjust and get back on track too. And that's the biggest thing that I tell people is like, just because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing doesn't mean you can't start again. Every day, wake up with that fresh start mentality and get back on track. Like that's the beauty of the day is you have the opportunity to make new choices. And just because you haven't been staying on track doesn't mean you can't start again and start fresh today.
You know what? You and I've talked about this many times, Robby, but maybe it'd be good advice for people to listen to you address. And that is that the journey to focus on living a healthy life, whether it's, getting your mind right, whether it's eating properly, whether it's physically getting your body more in shape, just living a healthy life is as much a journey about discovery and learning as it is anything. And so sometimes people they don't have a system for how they learn. It's just not part of their framework. They don't get up every morning and read a bunch and see what's going on and, the kind of stuff that you and I do every day. Mm-hmm. What can you teach them about? Because actually, I think that process of learning really empowers the actual going to the next step and actually doing.
Right. It's about progress over perfection. And I think that's where most people struggle is if they're not perfect, they give up. And instead of just focusing on the progress, like, hey, did you get a little bit better today? Okay, great. Now we're making progress. Did you check off the 10 things you wanted to do today? Maybe you only got 7 or 8, but 7 or 8 is still better than the 0 that you were doing before you set these goals. So really become obsessed with progress. And progress is not perfect. Progress is messy. It's sloppy. And building a business and losing weight, like you're not going to be 100% every single day. But are you making the progress? The original definition of the word sin is to miss the mark. And when we talk about sin, Jesus isn't concerned about necessarily the sin. He's concerned about your posture around the sin. Are you feeling guilty enough to make a change, right? That's the progress he's looking for. And we can look at our own goals the same way. Are you just making positive changes? That's what we're looking for. Are you saying, hey, I screwed up, but I'm going to keep going? That's progress over perfection.
It really is. And the blood pressure is going to go down, and you're going to sleep better, and you're going to look in the mirror and like what you see more. And whatever your goals are, there's an opportunity for those to come to fruition. Hey, when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Robby D'Angelo. And I want to talk about consistency and intensity, something he wrote about the other day that I think is really important. So we'll come back to that here in just a second. See you after this break. Welcome back to Coast Vue. I have my friend Robby D'Angelo, and as we always do during the breaks, we always have tremendous conversations, sharing sort of war stories and notes. Our commitment to the gym, it's a big thing. You know, it's talking about commitment to the gym, Robby. If I don't go, Ann and I've been married, 35 years. She's never known a time when I wasn't going to the gym. Never, not one time has she ever known a time when I wasn't going to the gym. It's just like, where are you going? You going to the gym? Yeah, I'm going to the gym. That's just what we do. I went to the gym this morning. When I don't go to the gym, if I miss a day for whatever reason, then I'm definitely going to go to the next day. I'm definitely, if I'm going to the Delta, I'm going to work out the day before, the morning I'll leave, and I'm going to work out the Sunday when I get back. But it's just part of what I do, man. I mean, if I don't go, I feel terrible. I mean, I don't feel right if I don't go. Are you the same way?
I am. And, one of the frustrating things for me personally here in the last few months has been the shoulder injury I've been dealing with. And it's really like affecting my consistency in the gym because I can only work out so much before it gets too inflamed. So it's been a mental battle. But, one of the things I wanted to point out, Ricky, as you were talking is, you are the product of consistency. And you're just an example of that. And you've been able to be consistent for so long now because you made it a priority in your life, and your health is like showing the outcome of that. And I wish more people would understand that.
Yeah. Well, look, you wrote about that. You said, okay, let me read to you something that Robby wrote that I think it's kind of magical, and it's also simplistic. It's if you can just get your head around the simplicity of this, that doesn't mean an action is still not in some respects difficult because you have to be consistent. Okay, but here's what he wrote. Consistency and intensity are the two key ingredients to personal growth. It's not enough to simply put in effort every now and then. You need to be consistent in your actions and be willing to push yourself to new levels of intensity. Consistency helps you stay on track and make steady progress. You're going from there. But when you were talking about physical fitness, especially, man, that's the key. That's the key to having results. That's the key to feeling great. That's the key to staying focused. What made you think of those? Because that really is well put.
Well, I was looking at my own journey and how I've been able to do the things I've done. And of course, and even the science research shows that consistency, adherence, as they call it in the research, adherence to a plan, consistency is the number one variable in someone progressing in their health journey. So I looked at my own life, that's what made me consistent. Something you mentioned, like I never go too long without working out. When I'm not traveling, my rule is never miss more than a day in a row. So it's been a consistent journey for me, and more important, like it's been a consistent food journey for me personally. That was the harder part because I love going to the gym. So doing something you love is easy. Doing something you don't like, which is eating healthy, that's been a harder journey for me. But I was looking back, and consistency was that key that's allowed me to have such progress, not just maintenance, but progress in the gym. And then that second piece, intensity. This is where a lot of people mess up because we say things like, oh, all you got to do is show up. Like, no, if you just show up to the gym and you don't do anything, what good did you do? The body is an amazing adaptation machine. It adapts to the stress you put it under. So intensity is you purposely putting yourself under increasing levels of stress and telling your body, I need you to become stronger. I need you to improve your health so we can handle this additional stress. And that's, just using your body's chemistry, using your body's programming for your advantage.
Well, I think about the Coach Young professionals we just had on the show just a minute ago, because we were talking about the work you have to put in to be able to present themselves the way that they did. I mean, they didn't just arrive in a position where they could be so articulate and so, gather their thoughts in the way that they did. They worked really, really hard to get in that position. And so this whole notion of consistency and intensity, it was not just about working out. It could be in your relationship. It could be in the way you go about, going after your goals. But it has a lot to do with the amount of dogged determination you're willing to bring to it, and whether you're willing to bring it on a consistent basis. It really applies. It's a mental thing that applies in so many facets of your life.
That's what really hit me when I was having this conversation with this young man. Is yes, consistency and intensity is what's led me to having success in the gym. But I'm like, that's anything in life. That's, we're having this conversation, and me being a shy introvert growing up, people ask me, how did you become so articulate? How did you become so good at doing things like this? I'm like, I consistently worked on it. And I, hired a mentor, and I worked with a coach, and I just intensely worked at getting better at a skill, and I consistently, intensely worked at that skill. And it applies to so many things in life, from if you want to become a better salesman, if you want to become a better, in a relationship, like you said. I mean, it's not just enough to show up for your partner. Like, you just existing every day is not going to have a great effect on your relationship. But if you're showing up with intensity of love and being there for someone, now we're actually making the progress.
Really, and willing to work at it. I mean, nothing worth having is easy. I mean, nothing. I don't care what you name it. You name the goal. You name it, any goal, unless it's a teeny weeny goal that's too attainable.
Right.
You have to work at it. You have to be ready and willing to work at it. So as we sort of wind this down, I always like to end with some basic stuff. As people sort of think about refocusing on whatever their resolution was around physical fitness. What's your advice to them about how to get focused again and to take those baby steps?
Well, I mean, the first thing you got to do is you got to become self-aware of, why didn't it work the last time? I set this goal. What prevented me from actually finishing this goal? Was it I wasn't in the right environment? I didn't have the right boundaries set up in my life? Did I not have any accountability? Maybe I need to use a habit tracker, or, find an accountability buddy is a word I love using. Maybe you need to find someone in your life where you're having weekly check-ins with. I mean, I met with my men's group last night, and we meet once a month, and we just hold each other accountable to our goals, and we're there to support each other. Like, find a circle like that. Like, just find the reasons why you weren't successful, and then put things in place to prevent those, obstacles from coming up again, right? That's anything in life.
There's nothing worse than a friend of yours walking up to you and saying, "Hey man, come here. Let me pull you aside here. You've gained a few pounds, hadn't you? Yeah. Are you still focused? I mean, what's going on?" I mean, that's what happens in those men's groups, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Hey man, you told me you were going to do this. What's going on with that? Hey, I noticed on social media you haven't been posting enough. Like, why aren't you? And just holding each other accountable. A lot of people scare away from accountability because it does remind them that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But as we know, relationships are the most important thing in our life. Sometimes we need that relational accountability because it just holds us to a higher standard.
And what I did in my journey is just sort of be accountable to myself. And when I'm not accountable to, when I don't make a goal, or I'm, I don't hit my step goal today, or what I mean, whatever it might be. I'm really focused on, okay, that's okay, but tomorrow I'm going to double down. I got to double down. I got to pick it up, and that's really important. But man, I there's nothing worse. Like my brother-in-law's an accountability for me. If you gain a pound, they know it, and they're gonna let you know about it really, really quickly. That's just kind of the way it is. But boy, that's so powerful. It really is. And again, the notion about drinking plenty of water, getting good sleep, cut back or eliminate the alcohol, and focus on eating. The eating part, knowing what your calorie intake is and how much you're burning. People, if they really did the math on what they really are doing in terms of, what they're burning and what they're taking in, it would blow them away. And fat comes on fast, doesn't it, Robby?
It absolutely does. I made one of my clients this month. He's got a new health goal for this year. I made him start actually tracking and measuring what he's eating, and he was blown away by how many calories he was actually consuming because he was eating healthy, but he just wasn't tracking anything. He's like, wow, I eat way too many calories. But it's like anything else in life. If you're not measuring and tracking what you're doing, it's really hard to have success.
Hey, coming back to the fact that you're posting more, again, I think you're working, it seems to me, working harder to be more of an influencer, and people can see your videos. But what's your goal there? And tell people how they can learn more about you and what you have to say about these things.
Yeah, absolutely. So to make it short, one sentence, I teach people and companies how to be undeniable. And that all starts with your mind. That's where I work. I work in human capital inside of companies and leadership, culture, communication. And then individuals, look, tell me your craziest goals and let's go accomplish them. The best way to reach me, simply social media. It's at Robby D'Angelo, just spelling my name on all the socials. Reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation with you.
Robby, thank you so much, my friend. It's always great to touch base with you. We'll see you in a month or so. This has been Absolutely. My friend Robby D'Angelo. When we come back, we're going to have Senator Jeremy England. He's back on Coast Vue. We'll see you after this break.
Bye, guys.